Every man and woman who stays at home must be moved by a spirit of sacrifice equal to that which animates our gallant troops.
So what was the inspiration behind this project? Why did you decide to take elements of the visual culture of more than a century ago and use it to kind of talk about what's happening to us today?
It came to us because we had just come off last year from doing a project about World War I. We'd done a series of educational videos for the U.S. Foundation for the Commemoration of the World Wars. We learned a lot about World War I in doing that project, and were exposed to these posters as one of the propaganda aspects that was used during the war.
A lot of the artists that were creating these posters were some of the greatest artists at the time. And that was something that was really unique, was the government recruiting artists to propagate their messaging. We see this kind of art being reused and reimagined ever since this movement.
We don't have this kind of like one governmental body that's kind of putting out these statements. Instead, it's really kind of largely falling to people themselves to kind of call themselves to collective action. And we're seeing that through like different, both serious memes and playful ones. And so I guess maybe if you could just like talk to that for a moment, and this notion of like the democratization of messaging that you see now, and kind of how your project sort of fits into that.
The memes that we made, as well as other memes that have been created since COVID-19, has become a fixture of just our day-to-day life. They are kind of this memento in terms of what the zeitgeist was at the moment. Uncle Sam, for example, in our meme, wearing the N95 mask and the gloves and the PPE, the personal protective equipment, it updates that meme to be precisely of this time.
The fine line that we were trying to walk, at least in the World War I imagery, is we're taking something that was a successful meme because it was so striking and so ubiquitous. We're kind of borrowing that power from those, but then we're reimagining them in today's meme culture, which is infusing a little bit of humor. We wanted to keep them a little bit lighthearted and a little bit quirky, just because it is kind of a scary time. Given
your research in the period and the work that you had been doing with the National World War I Museum and Memorial, like what jumps out to you in terms of like differences between that moment and now?
I think a big difference between the way messaging was spread in 1918 versus now is it was more obvious to people what the source of the information was. You knew with an organization like the Committee on Public Information that messaging was coming from the government. I think what's different now is there are not those clear messages, and you don't know the source, the intention behind the various messaging you're seeing. So there's a lot more of it now, and it's all over the place.
This war is a people's war. We dare not fail. We will win.